Hi there, guys. So, first of all, thank you guys so much for the 50k subscribers. We've already gone way past it by now. So I'm a little late with this video, but nonetheless, when I reached 10k, I made a promise to talk about my real life yandere experiences. And we can categorize those into two groups. First is me being a little bit yandere for other people, and secondly is other people going a little yandere for me. I'll talk about both in this video, and I hope it's interesting and entertaining. Enjoy! So, when I was about 14 or 15 years old, I had this crush on a guy we'll call Steven. And Steven was a guy from my school. We had some classes together, and we were actually pretty good friends. We'd known each other for about 3 months. He only recently joined my classes. But yeah, we were pretty good friends. And soon enough, my little crush on Steven kind of snowballed into this obsession with him, where I was just constantly thinking about him and I just needed to vent in a way. So, in no time, I had written so many poems about him and drew him so many times that I had filled 2 whole notebooks. But that wasn't the end of it. When he came over to my house one day, just to, friendly chat and have some lunch, I asked him if he wanted a can of Coke. And he accepted, so he drank the can of Coke. And when he left my house, I saw it just standing on my desk. And I just couldn't get myself to throw it away, because it was his and it was just special because of that reason. So I cleaned it and I put it in my drawer and I kept it there because it was his can of Coke. And we're still friends to this day. Eventually, I did get rid of the Coke can. But it's kind of a little yandere activity right there. So, not too long ago, I was dating a guy that we'll call Lucian. And I had been dating him for about 2 weeks. And by that time, I actually already liked him like a lot. I really liked him and we clicked very well. And eventually he came by my house, and because he was feeling a little under the weather, I made him a cup of tea. And after he left, I noticed a cup of tea still standing there on my desk. And I thought, all right, well, I kind of want to keep this. So what I did is I grabbed the tea bag, I pulled out all the herbs that were in there, and I dried them, and then I put them in a little baggie and kept them again in a drawer. And I'm fairly certain that I still have them somewhere hidden in my drawer. I've never done anything with them, but it's just a little trinket of him. It's kind of sweet. So when I was about 13 years old, so very young still, I had swimming classes. And every time I went to the pool, there was also this guy that went to my school who also went to the pool at the same time, so I kept running into him. One day, when we both wanted to go through the door, he held open the door for me. And at that exact moment, I decided that I really liked him, and I started kind of crushing on him. So that day, I wrote it down in my diary that he had held open the door for me, and I started what I had called Mission Mystery Boy, where I tried to figure out who he was, what was his name, and what class was he in, and how could I become closer to him. So I had made this little form in my diary with like age, height, clothes that he wore, and each time I saw him, I tried to put in some new information, and I went asking around if anyone knew him. Um, and by the time I figured out who he was, I had already lost interest. But yeah, I did manage to figure out who he was. So I guess Mission Mystery Boy was a success. And lastly, but probably most importantly, I actually noticed myself getting a little possessive over my viewers and fans, where whenever I noticed people that are often in my comment section or that I chat with on Discord or I just notice around the channel, whenever I see them comment under a different channel or interact with other voice actors that are kind of in the same branch, I get so possessive. I just feel a little bit of possessiveness towards that, where I'm just like, they should really only be listening to me and just me. But of course, I understand that that is not realistic, and there is no reason that anyone should only listen to me. But, you know, it's still a feeling I get from time to time where I'm just like, gosh, I wish they were just mine. Would have been a little more personal. Alright, so that was all the yandering I did. So now we're gonna move on to the part where people went a little yandere for me. These are not all the story, but for privacy reasons, I'm gonna have to leave a few of them out. I still hope these are entertaining and interesting, so yeah, enjoy! So, there was a guy, and we'll call him Bob. Bob and me had one class together for a little while, and he kind of was the odd one out all the time, and he didn't really have that many friends. About 2 years after I hadn't spoken or even seen him, he had suddenly DM'd me, and he was like, yeah, let's just chat. And I was like, all right, let's go. So we chatted for a while, and we kind of bonded over the books that we both liked. So I made some recommendations and told him he could come pick them up at my house if he wanted to. So he came by, and he picked up the books, and he was kind of oddly nervous, very blushing, a lot of stuttering. But it didn't really catch my attention all that much. I just tried to make him feel as comfortable as possible. So that night, after he had picked up the books, he asked me if I wanted to play Truth or Dare. Now, usually when guys ask me to play Truth or Dare, I refuse, and I did this time too. But he kept on persisting, and after about 2 days, I was like, you know what, sure. I don't have a lot of time, but alright, if you want to play Truth or Dare so badly, fine. So, at some point, I asked him to describe his perfect partner. If he could be with anyone he wanted, like fictionally, even. And he described me going as far as saying that she is in a relationship at the moment. And I felt quite uncomfortable because obviously he was describing me, seeing I was in a relationship at that time. So we kind of stopped chatting after that for a while. But later on, we started chatting again, and we were kind of having a sarcastic conversation, kind of joking around about some stuff, and suddenly he sent me a link of a web shop and asked me what I wanted. Assuming that he was still joking around, I just picked the most expensive item on the web shop and sent it to him with a sarcastic comment. Without him letting me know anything else, and me just not thinking much of it for like a week, that time went by and suddenly a package arrived in front of my door. I opened the package, surprised because I hadn't ordered anything, and saw that without letting me know anything, he had bought me the item and shipped it to my house. Naturally, I got really angry at him and I sent the thing back and I said, I hope you can get your money back, but this was unacceptable. You should have let me know. I didn't want this to begin with. And I told him to cut contact. But the 2 months following that period, I still received like pictures and messages of me in class or at lunch, and him just letting me know, oh, I saw you again today. And it was kind of scary, but fortunately he did stop after those 2 months. So glad about that. So after me and a guy broke up, he started messaging me again. And I had made it very clear that I was not interested in being friends with him or having contact with him again in any way. So I told him to not message me again. So instead of messaging me, he started making public posts on social media with poems directed towards me. And the worst part of it all is that they were really bad poems as well. He also had a collection of pictures of me saved on his phone, which he regularly looked at way after the breakup, which that cannot be healthy either.